Today's video is sponsored by Black Gold Compost Company. I want to thank the good people over at Black Gold for the generous donation of all this beautiful black cow manure that we use in our video today, and it's made a tremendous success in our garden. I've been using black cow for many years, ever since 1980, and it's always made a tremendous difference in my garden, and I've been very pleased with our product. I highly recommend it. Thank you, Black Gold, for sponsoring our channel. Well, good morning, Homestead family. Today I want to talk to you about how to grow sugar snap peas in your fall garden. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about sugar snap peas. It's such a delicious little pea that you can grow in your fall garden. These things are so sweet that you usually don't make it from the garden to the house because we end up picking them off and eating them as snacks just every time we walk by there. But these are really some interesting and tasty peas that you may want to try in your fall garden this year. So we wanted to talk about that with you today. I got these seeds at johnnyseed.com, and just sugar snap peas. These are a cool weather plant, and we want to plant these in the fall here in Florida. And what I'm doing today is I've planted these in some seed starting cells. I've got them on the seed starting rack. I got them planted a couple of days ago, so nothing's happened yet. But most of garden is the most common thing about garden is anticipation, right? So we believe in tomorrow when we plant a garden. So anyway, I got the seeds in the cells. We're gonna let these get going here in the next few days, and we'll watch the progression of these all the way up until we harvest. So watch this video all the way to the end because it's seed to harvest, right? Okay. Now let me tell you a little bit about these seeds. We got them in. When I plant these, I'm going to plant them in the seed starting tray because I want to plant individual seedlings underneath my trellis because I want to use fish as my fertilizer. So I can dig my hole, put the fish in, cover it up, and then create another small hole to put the seedling in so those roots are directly over that fish. So by the time that fish decays down there, those little roots off that seedling, as it's maturing, they finally grow down and they reach all that decaying fish down there, and it's a super charge of fertilizer to that plant, and it gets a really good plant. And really, when I use fish, that's usually the only time I have to fertilize throughout the life of that plant. It lasts the whole life of the plant, so I don't have to go back and side dress and all that. So to me, it's a great way to use an abundant fertilizer that me and Nancy have because we go fishing all the time, and we save the heads and the little trash fish that other people would normally just throw back. We save them and we bring them home and freeze them, and then when the fall garden gets here or the spring garden, we've got an abundance of fertilizer. Now if you don't fish, and you may know someone that does, ask them to save the guts and heads for you and put them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them till spring or fall. That's a great fertilizer. You could also go to a fish market in your area and go up and ask them if you can have the fish heads and guts, and they'll just give them to you. So it's free fertilizer. Don't turn that down. So anyway, that's how we're going to do it. Now the sugar snaps peas are going to need a trellis, so we're going to get to finally use our new trellis garden out here, and we're going to grow them in there so they can climb up that trellis, and we'll watch all that and do all that together as these things mature and we get to that point. So we got a lot ahead. We just, at this point, we're waiting on these little peas to emerge and create some nice, beautiful little seedlings for us to work with. So we'll be back in the days ahead, and we'll watch the progress of these, and we'll grow them together. See you then. Well, good morning. Our sugar snap peas are doing really good. It's been 9 days since we planted these together. And as you can see, the seedlings are up and running and they're looking really good. If you look real close, you can actually see the little very small tendrils starting to appear. And these things right now are already at about 3 inches tall at 9 days. So I'm going to give these about another, let's give it about another 5 days, and I'm going to start to harden these off. I've got plenty of true leaves now and a good strong stem, so I'm real happy with this tray. I have I'd say at least a 99% germination rate out of this whole tray. Had 48 cells in it, and only one of them didn't germinate, so I can't complain about that. So anyway, we'll get these hardened off, and then we'll be back in about a week, and we'll head over to the trellis and we'll plant these together because I want to use some fish fertilizer on these and see if we can't get some real good sugar snap peas this year. So we'll be back in about a week. Well, welcome back. Boy, these sugar snaps are just loving this cooler temperature. They're growing like a couple of inches a day, and I'm not exaggerating. These things are really growing. So I've had them out here on the hardening table for a day or two. I think I'm going to try to plant them. I can't plant them tomorrow because I'm going to go fishing, but today I'm going to go ahead and get the bed prepped and get it ready underneath the trellises, get that all ready to go. And then when I get back after fishing the next day, these should be really ready to go, hardened off. I'm gonna give them a couple more days. I've given them the full sun out from under the 40% shade cloth and the seed starting racks, and that'll have them really good and gobbling up that sunshine. And the stems are pretty strong. You can see they're doing really well. So let's go get the bed prepped, and we'll get this ready to go in the ground in a couple of days. So let's get started. Okay, I got the bed prepped, and I was planning on installing the sugar snaps on day after tomorrow, but Miss Nancy just informed me that day after tomorrow is supposed to rain all day. So I said, we can do it tomorrow. And she goes, oh, no, you can't. Tomorrow we're going fishing. How many of you guys have a wife that pressures you to go fishing? Am I blessed? Am I blessed? I'm blessed. She makes me go fishing. I know, I apologize, but it's a brutal life I'm living with her. I have to go fishing because she insists. So anyway, we got the bed prepped, so that means we're gonna have to go ahead and plant the sugar snaps today. And I wanted to talk about using fish, because I see a lot of people starting to use fish on YouTube, and that really thrills me because I've always been an advocate for using fish for a fertilizer, because boy, it's good, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Anyway, I see some folks that they put the fish in right under the soil level, and they pull back and they set the ceiling right on top of that fish and then cover it up. Well, you don't want to do that, because that right there, that fish, while it's decomposing, is actually a hot compost. So if you put your plant right on top of it, you risk it, killing your seedling. And if you don't kill it, you're going to stunt the growth because all of that hot compost is right on top of that root system that's trying to send out roots. So you don't want it too shallow like that. And I saw, another person saying they buried it 2 feet deep because they don't want the animals to smell it and dig it up. Well, keep in mind that our vegetable root system's only, 9 or 10 to 12 inches deep to start with. So if you put it down 2 feet deep, the animals won't bother it, and neither will the plants, because they'll never root down that deep to get to it. Our vegetables are only annuals, remember, so they're not going to get to that good old decaying, highly nutrient decomposing fish. So you don't want to be too shallow and you don't want to be too deep. Here's the just right spot. I know that my root system's not going to be any more than 9 or 10 inches. So what I do is I plant my fish right out about 6 or 7 inches deep. I put a little bit of lime on top of the fish to mask the smell of that fish when it's decomposing, so no animals will come and dig it up, and then so doing digs up my seedling. So you want to cover it up with some lime, garden lime, to slow that smell down. Now a lot of folks say, well, you're going to destroy the pH, you're going to make it too sweet. Believe me, with all that decomposing fish in there, that little bit of lime on top of there is going to be overwhelmed with everything else that's going in there, so it's not going to make any difference, not enough to even notice in the pH. So don't worry about the pH. Just cover up that fish and get it in there. Now, remember, I got my fish about 6 or 7 inches deep, right? Next thing I'll do is I'll cover up the hole with the fish in it, cover it up completely, back up to the soil level. Then I'll dig down about 3 or 4 inches so I can set my seedling down in there and cover it up directly on top of that fish. That fish is at 6 or 7 inches. The bottom of my seedling is only 3. So it's got 3 inches of root growth to travel before it hits that decomposing fish. So that by the time it gets there, it's not hot and it's not going to slow down my plant. By the time it gets there, instant supercharge of nutrients. You will be amazed at how fast these fish decompose. People think, oh, they take 6 months to decompose. Oh no, they'll be within 4 weeks. You barely be even able to find any remains other than bones. So it decomposes pretty quick. The bacteria that's in the soil interacts with it, and it just eats it up, and it gets incorporated into the soil. So by the time that root system makes it down 6 inches deep, right about the time we really need a boost of nutrients for our plant, it just explodes. And it lasts a long time. This stuff will last 8-10 months. So it's really a long feed. I can use the fish, and most of the time I don't even have to put anything else in it. But when I do plant, I will add some blood meal in the hole with the fish, because remember, the fish is down lower than the seedling. So when I dig the hole to put the seedling in, I add a little bit of blood meal to give it a boost of nitrogen and cover it up, and then the plant has something to really get an instant shot of nutrients, nitrogen, and get that plant going good. And then the roots will get going because the foliage is going good. It's got a lot of photosynthesis. Now the roots are really going, and when they get down, they hit that fish. Voila, we got it. So I hope that helps you. So me and Nancy are fixing to get to it. We're going to put these sugar snaps in, maybe about 12 inches apart. We get to use a brand new trellis today. It's so brand new I don't even have the irrigation in, so I'm going to have to irrigate it by hand, which is no big deal. And since I'm only using one trellis right now, we ended up with 6 trellises just like this one. So our trellis garden is going to have an automatic sprinkling system here in the next spring. But for now, we wanted to get some sugar snaps in, so looks like the old-fashioned way, right, baby? Hand water, right? Okay, well, let's get this show on the road. Well, there we go. We got our sugar snaps installed underneath the trellis, and Nancy's watering them in right now, so it won't be long. Nancy wanted me to point out to you that at the beginning of the bed prep, you saw me using, you know, tons and tons of the black cow manure. I just wanted to point out, you don't have to do that every time you plant something like I just did. For all you folks that live in Florida, you understand quite well Florida sugar sand, and that's what we have out here. This is a brand new trellis. I haven't done anything to amend this sand, so this is the first time I'm using it, so I had to amend it heavily with the black cow. So that's why you saw me using so much of it. And by the way, I want to thank again Black Gold Compost Company for your generous donation of all the black cow manure. It's really helping us, so thank you for that donation. So anyway, we got the sugar snaps installed. We're watering them in, and we're going to keep a close eye on these, you know, in the days ahead. And we'll watch it as it reaches up and gets a hold of these cattle panels, and it starts to grow out. And we'll watch it all the way through the progress of the life of this beautiful sugar snap until we get to break some off and eat them. And I'm looking forward to my grandson coming over, Fisher. That's a good name, ain't it? Fisher. So Fisher will be coming over to see Granddaddy, and we'll come out here and pick some sugar snaps together and let him check those out for the first time. 2 years old, you know, they're kind of picky on things they eat, so you start introducing them young, right? So anyway, you got anything else you want to add?
No, you're good.
We're good. So, okay, we're going to go fishing tomorrow. Don't click off the video. There's plenty more to come. Seed to harvest. So we'll be right back. Well, good morning. Our sugar snaps have been out in the trellis here for 5 weeks, and you know, a couple of weeks ago I came out and I staked them all up with the little bamboo stakes, and they're doing really good. They're all reaching up to the trellis and starting to actually climb on the trellis. And you heard the old saying, the cookie crumbles. Well, in gardening, it definitely crumbles. And after the plants were staked up, we got about a week and a half of real unseasonable weather down here. Well, I guess it's really not that unseasonable for Florida, but you know, we were doing good with the cool temperatures, and next thing you know, we got a snap of about 10 days of 89, 90 degree days. And remember, sugar snaps don't like that hot weather. So, you know, we lost a whole bunch of them. As you can see, there's a lot of plants that just didn't make it. About half of the row didn't make it, and then the other half, you know, it's doing pretty good. It's survived, and it's getting on up the trellis pretty good. And you know, I tried to do everything I could to save them and help them survive. I came out a couple of times a day, and I put the cool water down around the roots and try to keep them plants cooled off. But I couldn't perform the miracle that needed to be performed. So anyway, about half of the row died off, and the other half looks like it's gonna make it. So what I did is I got a little proactive. When I saw them hot days coming in, I went ahead and planted me another tray of the sugar snaps to get ahead of the curve, and they're ready to go. As you can see, they're looking beautiful. So I thought what I'd do is, as soon as the weather cooled off, which it's starting to do now, and we're back down to a more reasonable seasonable weather range. I think I'll go today, I'll go out here to where these bald spots are, where we lost some of them, and I'll replace them with these new plants, which is, you know, about the best thing I can do when the cookie crumbles is make some more dough. So this is the dough. So anyway, I'm going to replant them, remember we had the fish in the hole. The fish has been in that hole for 5 weeks now. I thought what we'd do is just take the shovel and dig up a couple of spots and just to look at how much that fish has actually decomposed in a short period of time, 5 weeks. Let's just take a look and see where that's at. And once I do that, then I'm going to go back to the spots that are missing the plant, and I'll just add a little bit of blood meal in with the hole, and I won't dig down real deep, and I'll just pull back and put a new plant in there, and we should be, hopefully it should be okay. I think we still have plenty of time left, in the fall garden here for these to catch up and produce and be producers. That actually what I'll have is one side of the trellis will be producing before the other, which is okay. It kind of spreads it out a little bit for us. So anyway, let's go over here and take a look and see what that fish looks like. Okay, let's take a look at this one right here. Here's the stakes, the bamboo stakes that I put in. And the plant has since then died, so let's pull that out. But let's dig on down in here and see what that fish looks like. Okay. Here's a little piece of bone right here. Here's another little piece of bone. There's a little piece. Okay. As you can see, that fish that we had in the hole has completely decomposed with the exception of the bones. And that's only been in here 5 weeks. So if you ever hear people saying, well, that's never going to decompose fast enough for the plant to take it up, yeah, remember this demonstration. That's 5 weeks, friends, and that thing is ready to be planted. If that plant had lived, it could have got right down to that fish down in there where it was, and it would have been ready to go. So let's go get the plants and get them in the ground, replace them. Okay, I got all the sugar snaps that had died off replaced with the new seedlings, so I think we're back up and running 100%. And we'll keep an eye on these and get them watered in and keep a close eye on them for the next few weeks, and we should see some much needed improvement. So we'll be back shortly, and we'll continue to watch this little journey of this beautiful little sugar snap. We'll see you soon. Well, we finally got some cooler temperatures setting in. This is November the 2nd. So we've got some temperature ranges now going down into 40s at night and the 70s during the daytime. And that's just about right for these sugar snaps. So these peas are going to start to get some good traction now that we got the cooler temperatures here. As you can see, they're already about halfway up the trellis now, which is, a good, hopeful sign. So let these guys continue to grow. I'm going to hit them with some liquid nitrogen today, some fish emulsion. I'll hit them real hard with that fish emulsion. In about 3 weeks, we ought to see a real good jump on these beautiful sugar snap peas. As I can't wait to let my little grandson come out here and gnaw on a bunch of them. So we'll be back in about 3 weeks, and we'll look at the progress of these sugar snaps. See you then. Well, welcome back, friends. I gotta tell you, it's been a tough year for sugar snaps over here. We suffered and struggled through the unseasonably high temperatures, a few weeks ago. And we got them on the comeback, and we transplanted some new starts and got them in, filling in the gaps. And next thing you know, here comes a hurricane, which was downgraded to a tropical storm Eta. But it hit and ran directly over us. So we had to put the peas through a tremendous amount of rain and a whole bunch of wind for a couple of days there, and it's been rough on it. There was so much rain and wind, it kind of, the little seedlings that we transplanted, they didn't do too good. But that's the way it is with gardening. You have to kind of roll with the punches. So we're rolling. But anyway, we'll let these keep going. If you look up close, you can already see we got a few blooms starting to show up on the scene here. So once you see the little white blooms like that, it's really not very long after that you'll start seeing the pea pods coming out. So we'll keep our eye on this and hope for the best, and then maybe in a couple weeks here we'll come back and maybe we'll survive survive this growing season and get us some sugar snap peas off of this trellis. So we'll be back here in just a couple more weeks. See you then. Well, here we are, almost Christmas. Getting there. The sugar peas, sugar snaps have done really good. We're gonna go ahead and harvest some today. Nancy, you're gonna do a little stir fry tonight, so I'm always looking forward to that. And cook some of them beautiful fish that we've been catching, huh? Yum, yum. So anyway, we had fun growing these, so today we're gonna harvest up enough to do a little stir fry. I can't wait for my grandson Fisher to come over this weekend for Christmas, and he just loves these things. He picks them and eats them. His little teeny little fingers in there, just as fast as he can get them out of you. It's fun to watch. But these are a favorite for little kids. If you want to put some of these in your garden, they sure enjoy picking them and eating them. So anyway, let's take a look at the trellis is doing really good. You can look up close and see, some of the pods here are doing really great. They're still putting on plenty of blooms, so these things will continue to produce for several weeks. So it's been a really fun adventure with these things here. I think you'll like it. So what you say, let's grab up some for the supper table.
All right, sounds good, sweetheart. Delicious. No wonder Fisher is eating the heck out of it. Sweet. It's like candy.
I'll tell you what, if you want to get a little kid interested in growing their own vegetables and eating them, start out with them. They're delicious. We've had a blast growing them. We hope you've had a blast watching the video and on this little journey of growing sugar snaps together. So I hope our video brought a smile to your face, a little peace to your heart on this day. So until me and Nancy see you next time, always remember, by His hands we are fed. Give us, Lord, our daily bread. Amen.
Have a blessed day. Wow, these are beautiful.